Hallo, herzlich willkommen zurück, liebe Leute. Schön, dass ihr noch da seid. Wir brauchen inzwischen ein paar längere Pausen zwischen den Gästen, weil es ist sehr heiß hier. Und wir sind alles, vielleicht äußerlich noch nicht so sehr, aber innerlich vertrocknete Pflaumen. Wir haben jetzt Gäste am Start. Ich freue mich wirklich sehr. 3 sind es an der Zahl. Und ich stelle erstmal den deutschen Part vor. Wir haben Olli und Jana hier von Indie Arena. And now we gotta switch to the English language because we got Kelly here from Indie Mega Booth. Hello, nice to meet you. Hello, hello, welcome.
Hey.
Hello. Would love to have applause here, but there's no applause. Everyone is tired. It's all good. Nice that you're here. And if that's okay for you, we just keep it in English.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm gonna first start with Kelly, if that's okay for you. So you are from Indie Mega Booth.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah, you gotta hold it like that. What's Indie Mega Booth?
So the Indie Mega Booth is a collection of indie developers that work together to do community building and networking and help devs show their games at these conferences. Because as you can tell, Gamescom is a little overwhelming. So if you're a team of like 2 or 3 people or something, it's sort of difficult to figure out like what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it and get people to pay attention to your game. So we do all the things that small companies have a hard time doing.
Like organizing stuff, doing the pay work as well?
Yeah, yeah. So we do a lot of the organizing. We throw parties. We buy people earplugs.
Do you have some space for a production company as well? we need that help too sometimes.
I think if I had 5 more of me, maybe.
Right. So is it stressful for you?
Yeah. So right now it's only actually 2 full-time people. So it's just me and one other person is Christopher Floyd, and we do 2 shows in the U.S. We did a showcase at GDC in San Francisco. We're doing Gamescom now. We're starting to like expand into a bunch of other things. So I think people think we're this huge company because we do so much stuff, but it's actually just like 2 of us plus a bunch of like volunteers and all the developers pitching in to make it possible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And you got lots of really good teams behind Indie Mega Booth. Well, lots of really good indie titles there.
Yeah.
Just for example, I told you before, Dungeons of the Enders. I really love that game. I will show it to you later on. But so there are lots of cool indie developers who needed kind of help to get organized as well, to be part of, or can be part of kind of expos like PAX as well.
Yeah.
And you're doing the work for them, right?
Yeah.
Really
So
cool.
so we have it now that people submit their games and then we play through them and we do a selection and everything. So we try and pick games that are based on like, are they doing something positive for the indie community in general? Like, do they do nice things? Are they organizing things in their local community? So then that way, when everybody gets together, they make all these connections, and then I find out later that they're like doing all these cool projects together and they're like making the whole thing better. So
nice.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's good.
It's really good. So this is Indie Mega Booth, and then we got Indie Arena, which is quite a similar thing, right? Isn't it? But not in the US.
It's a bit hard to describe because the Indie Arena is a forum of German game developers, and so from German, Austria, and Switzerland. Yeah. And then there's the Indie Arena booth, which is hosted by Olli.
Yeah, we basically just ripped off the idea of Indie Mega Booth because last year.
Good idea, man.
Yeah, it's really good. Because it was working so well, but they weren't at Gamescom yet, and we wanted to show our games as well. So. So we basically just made a small booth together. It's a kind of a different concept. We try to cram as many developers on a small space as possible to keep the costs down.
Sure.
And so that works really well.
All right. So again, more like organizing stuff and maybe creating a bigger thing from smaller parts to be maybe a bit, I don't know.
Totally.
A bit more.
I mean, in the first year, last year it was a little bit selfish. I have to admit, I'm a developer myself, and I wanted to show my game at Gamescom. So it's like, how can I do that? And so let's get a bunch of people, and then many people benefited from it. And this year I'm doing it again. I'm not showing my game because that was a bit exhausting, organizing all the thing, then showing your game for 5 days, and then having to tear it all down again. It was a little bit much. So this year I'm just doing the booth again.
All right. So are you game developers by yourself as well, Kelly? Are you a game developer?
No, thankfully.
No. Why thankfully? You work for them. You work with them.
It's so much work. I feel like what I'm doing is a lot of work, and then I see the developers, and I'm like, that is a lot of work.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I met a few developers, and
they
don't seem to be working at all.
I want to work at those.
No.
Yeah, because at least mine at like the end of like 6 months or so, I know it ends. Like it just stops. I mean, like sometimes you work on a game and it just goes on, and then you like release it, and then you have this and you have that. But I don't know. I always like doing I guess, roles where I'm like supporting people to do creative endeavors because I like creative things, but I just never like I read sheet music, I don't write music, and like I draw, but I like look at something and I draw it. But then I have these people that it's like they have this vision in their mind that they just like have to show and share with people, and for me like I just want to help them realize that. Like doing it myself, I have no idea. Like I think I would make a really good like management sim of like make a booth type thing. Make a booth type.
How cool would that be? Just a kind of a content management system game or something like that. Yeah. Well, actually, it exists already. So I know a few guys who work on that, like a playable project management thing.
Those are basically the games that I play in my spare time because people are like making fun of me. They're like, wait,
Basecamp,
so
yes.
So you play management games and then you manage stuff in your time. I'm like, leave me alone.
Nice. What about you, Jana? Are you a game developer by yourself?
Yeah, I'm developing Try at the moment. It's an exploration game. I've got cards with me.
Oh, so professional.
Just hold it still.
Cool. It's about the fox and the monk, and you have to find the mad fox, and you can make triangles everywhere, and to walk the walls and the ceiling. And that's the game I'm working on, and I'm at the Indie Mega booth. So I'm splitting the Germans.
That is all right.
But right now you're combining them. That's okay. That's good.
Yeah.
We're making friendships.
That's right. That's important.
Yeah, but you said, I told you before that yesterday and on Tuesday we met the Broforce guys.
Yeah.
So Broforce, the really, really cool game in a beta right now, and they were hooked up by Devolver, a really cool publisher, I guess, and they call themselves post-indies, which means that they can buy themselves fancy shoes. This is what they said. So I just, this is not me, this is them. So and I think they're doing good as well as in terms of being creative, as well as earning money actually right now. So. But the main problem with the indies right now is not only organizing themselves, but getting money, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how hard is it for you, especially you, because you work, you create your games for yourselves, to earn money and to kind of be able to do it kind of full time and be as creative as you could be?
I think most of us are doing contract work a lot.
Yeah.
To develop games also in our spare times mostly. Right. Some are hobbyists, some make contract work, some try to get funded with the German fundings.
Yeah, they're completely different strategies. Some go to universities and teach there and stuff like that. So, but it's a weird scene because, especially in Germany, the game scene is very, very fixed into the couple. You have the couple of big players like Freitag or Wallick or something.
Yaga,
exactly. And then now you have this new wave of developers. I always feel like that. It's like the Neue Deutsche Welle of video games. A little bit.
We need a track for that.
A little bit, because there's just a bunch in the indie arena. We see that we have a bunch of young teams starting up and trying to do this, and they all run into the same problems. How do we get funding and stuff? But by banding together with the forum, we can actually help each other out and share contacts and stuff like that. So but it's tough. It is tough, and working creatively when you don't have any money, and it's even harder.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that like we have found that works really well too, is because as indie developers, it's like there's not really this idea of competition. Like we were joking about this during that other talk where the Kolmesse had gotten in touch with me, and they're like, there's this thing called the Indie Arena, and they're going to have a booth where they're sharing the space, and like, is it okay with you? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like I'm talking to them, and like we're helping each other. It's like I don't own
they
like the
didn't get that we were helping each other.
No.
Let's crush them.
Well, because you can't, because as indies, like you can't do it, right? Like you can't have the competition like that. And the thing is, it's also not a competition, because if somebody buys your game, they're probably more likely to buy your game, which means that they'll buy this game. It's not like you buy one game and then you're like, okay, I'm done. Like it doesn't make sense to do that. And because the teams are so small, that if you try and like alienate yourself, it's just like you're just breaking apart and everybody's drowning in the ocean by themselves. So it doesn't make any sense. Which is why like the concept for the mega booth initially was just that like, hey, we're all going to work together so that we can get physically visibility at these conferences instead of being like spread all over the place. And then that also like carries over into communities and all that. So it seems like a very simple idea, but like you can't exist otherwise. Like we don't have this like sort of rivalry that's like built up between indie teams or something, because it doesn't work.
It's actually interesting. I mean, 1 or 2 years ago, that's why we funded the Indie Arena forum. No German developer really knew each other. I mean, there were the local groups like Hamburg or Berlin or Stuttgart maybe and Munich, but they didn't know each other. So we funded the forum to really get to know each other. And hey, how do you get this funding? And how did you get on Steam? What's your publisher? And stuff like this. And it was really, really helpful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And everyone is here right now at Gamescom, or most of them.
Yeah,
we actually had a meetup. We had a meetup on Wednesday where everybody came. We rented a bar and just to be able to just see the faces. So it's not just forum names. You see the faces.
Yeah.
Nice.
Then, so it's pretty cool. It's a pretty active and strong community, I think. And then everybody's pitching in. So there's one guy who organized an event in Poland. There's a conference there. And she said, hey, come over. We take like a bunch of our teams and go over there as a group and stuff like that. So everybody is pitching in and. So it works really well.
That must be nice to just, it's always nice to when you just see nicknames in the web and then, finally, because you actually know from the thing you talk and discuss that you're kind of the same wave and then you meet them, right?
Yeah.
So how many people were there at the bar?
At the bar? 80 something?
Right.
Just throughout the whole evening.
Some appear, just say hi, and then they had to go. And
Yeah.
Well, there were a lot, and it's growing ever since. She had a nice graphic in a talk. So 1 year ago there were like 4 companies, and then you have a bunch of companies now, and they were coming more and more.
And they really finished games. That's the point.
You just say yes.
I mean,
finishing games hard.
And a lot of years ago, I mean, there was a strong hobby development community in Germany, but they never really finished the game. And now we really are at a point after 10 years that we finished these small games. That's really cool.
Nice. But is it like that? Many people out there, and especially the big 3, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. Well, spare out Nintendo, but. Kind of everyone is talking about indie games, so and about the creative kind of power which lies there, and many people want to work in the games industry and they want to get their creativity out and their games out. Actually, don't you think that actually in this year or these times, many people come over and try to get kind of organization and payment inside? Is like that? So is it still that hard as 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
I think it's getting easier more and more, right? I mean,
I think it sort of depends. I mean, part of the issue with this sort of stuff then becomes a discoverability issue with the games that are good, because
that's the problem. Everybody can make games, but to make it visible, to lead people to the games they want to play, that's the problem. So not making games, not bringing them out, but bringing them to the people.
Well, you make it sound so easy. Making games is easy. You just sit down a weekend, make a game, and then bam, success, Minecraft.
But there are tools to really help even children to get into game development. It's getting easier these days. I mean, you don't have to hardcode everything.
No, you don't have to build your own engines. There are tools just where you can start very quickly and make games very quickly as well. And then what we do at our booth as well is that we have the actual developers at the booth. So people, there's often an interesting moment then when the people find out that it's not just a guy who is hired like at all the other booths here, who just knows a certain set of answers to some questions. No, this is the developer and he knows everything about this game.
Because it's his game.
And then there are 2 reactions. Either they get very intimidated because they're playing with the developer, or they just get excited and just ask a bunch of questions. Because if you're a fan of video games, the leap to I want to try to make my own is very, very small.
It's really near. So
and nice. we are happy to share and just to show people how it's done.
And there are a lot of students here, and also guys from other countries like Italy. I talked today to guys from Italy, and how the situation is there, and it's really worse. I mean, they just have a few indies and no universities teaching indie games, and they just have some jam sites, and they come here and ask, how do you do it? Tell us. And it's
all you need is a Gamescom.
It's not that hard.
I mean, it's super interesting seeing all this stuff. Like, I travel a lot, basically, I guess, around the world now, like meeting with different teams and different like co-op places and different cities and stuff in different countries, and everybody has like this like little tiny differences in their communities, but they're all starting to sort of like pull together a little bit more globally, which is really cool, because like they were saying, someone is just like the idea of like, oh, okay, well, this is how you like organize these things, so you can go to a conference, and then like these are the contacts that you need to talk to, and then like this is how you do it, and then people can take that and make their own versions of it, and like everybody's benefiting from it, which is super cool.
That's really cool. How many guys do you have at your booth then?
So at Gamescom we have 34 companies.
34 companies.
This is actually a really like not small one for us. At PAX we normally have about like 80 or 90 companies or so. So I think
You think this is
exactly.
the mega booth. That is why the mega booth is capitalized. It's a mega booth.
This is a bigger conference for us, but a smaller space for us, which is fun.
I mean, it's the first year.
Yeah,
It'll
no,
grow.
I know. I didn't want to go overboard.
Easy. Yeah, but you know, wenn ihr da draußen seid und ihr selber Bock habt, Videospiele zu machen, dann sind eigentlich genau diese Personen richtig für euch. Weil ihr sitzt vielleicht zu Hause, ihr habt vielleicht Ideen, vielleicht habt ihr auch die Tools und ihr wisst auch und könnt euch Tutorials angucken, aber wisst gar nicht, wie es dann weitergeht. Es sind eben nicht nur die großen Firmen, sondern es sind eher gerade die kleinen Firmen, die eher zu einem Erfolg führen können, als wenn man jetzt direkt bei Sony anfragt, zum Beispiel. Yeah, I just told the guys that if they really want to kind of get into the games industry and by creating their own games, then you guys are the right addresses actually, because you can organize the stuff. So that's really cool. Actually, we'd love to show some games, but I don't know if we get still more time. They was quite messed up. So I'm really sorry, but I'm thankful as well. Really thankful that you got the time to come over. But we have to stop because my mates are sitting out there eating sausages, I guess. And
without you. Oh,
that's not the point, that's the point. But they have to kind of, we have to produce something for the TV show right now, and I think they all get mad if I just, talk about really cool stuff, because they are just interested in all this boom boom and Call of Duty. No, that's not right. That's really not right. No. But thank you for your time. Thank you for being here,
thank
Kelly.
You so much.
Nice to meet you.
It was really great meeting you.
Just come by. We are in Hall 9 in Hall 10. So the Indie Arena booth is in Hall 9, just between Nintendo and the esports area. So that's pretty cool. And then in Hall 10 you can't really miss it. The Indie Mega Booth is just You come into Hall 10 and then there's the Indie Mega Booth right there.
So für alle Leute nochmal, die morgen und auch Sonntag vorbeikommen. Wie gesagt, Halle 9 und Halle 10, dort werdet ihr entsprechend in die Arena als auch den Indie Mega Booth finden. Das heißt, wenn ihr, wie gesagt, selber gerade Bock habt, einfach mal hingehen, Hallo sagen, kann man machen. Die sind anfassbar. Ja. Und, dort, Entschuldigung, nein, nicht.
Nicht anfassen?
Ja, es wird schwierig mit 50.000, 60.000 Leuten, also deswegen.
Es wird sehr kuschelig, kommt vorbei.
Jetzt probieren das morgen alle.
Nein, I did a terrible mistake.
He told the internet to poke the developers.
Luckily there's just a few people watching, so that's okay. Okay, ihr bleibt nochmal gleich dran. Wir sind gleich wieder am Start mit Eddie, Simon, Nils, eventuell Gregor. Gleich sind wir wieder in unserem kleinen Zirkel und dann werden die anderen Jungs mal berichten, was sie dann alles heute gesehen haben. Wir sind sehr gespannt. Es ist Freitag, es ist auch der letzte Livestream-Tag, das heißt, ihr müsst dranbleiben. Und wir sagen Tschüss. Ich denke mal, ihr winkt auch den dreien zu. Und jetzt gehen wir erstmal wieder in diese Kamera da oben. Kaproing! Und wir sind raus. Bis gleich.